Welcome to Go Mustang Sports. I'm Dave McHugh as we take a weekly look once again at the women's soccer program. So head coach Graeme Millar joins me. And coach, dreary day here as we talk. We haven't had many of those so far. Been pretty good weather. It's a good thing you're not playing today.
It makes me feel at home though. It's good Scottish weather.
There you go.
I'm pretty happy today actually. Yeah.
A little warmer than you would normally have.
Way too warm, yeah.
Kind of pretty nice, easy week as it were. You only had one game. It turned into a blowout against Lycoming. Of course, you're going into the meat of the conference schedule. We'll talk about that in a minute. But how important was that week just to kind of give the team a break?
Well, I said to the girls last week actually that this was our second most important week of the season, other than preseason. Up to this stage, this was a week that got us a chance to get healthy. It got us a chance to work on things from those first 11 games, because we did have 11 games in 30 days, not against too many easy teams.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any games like yesterday. So for us, it was a chance to get healthy, get a little bit of rest. We were still without like Mackenzie yesterday, so she still needs some work on her injury. But we were able to work on the things that we needed to improve on, the mistakes we made against Salisbury and Misericordia Hopkins and TCNJ when we lost those games. So this was a very important week, and the team really responded to it, and they showed us a lot of it yesterday. Even when it wasn't a tough opponent, we did the job. You still have to get the win and score the goals. So we were able to show exactly what we worked on all week.
I was going to say, that Sunday game against Lycoming, it took you 9 minutes before you were on the board. And that literally opened up the floodgates, no pun intended, to the weather behind us. You guys scored 6 goals in about 20 minutes, or even less. What was the secret? Was it just that you guys playing that well, or was it just taking advantage of a defense who couldn't stop you?
Yeah, I think once you get the first, it's always the first goal in soccer, especially against a team that you know that you're supposed to beat. Those games that you're supposed to win by a few goals. And if you go longer than 10 minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes, then things start to get into your head. You start to wonder, wow, can I really score against this team? So once the first one goes in, then everybody kind of breathes a sigh of relief, and then we just kept playing the same game. So our game plan was simple, and you see in the girls, all the goals were, pretty spectacular goals.
Yeah.
They were really nice. There wasn't any, easy ones that went in. We worked the ball around well, which is what we've been working on all year, and that was Lycoming's biggest loss. So it definitely, for us, I thought we played excellent.
9-0, the biggest shutout win for Stevenson in 4 years. C-Jack gets a hat trick. She now has 10 goals, 22 points as we talk. You get 3 players who get their first career goals in the game. By the way, most of us, except for C-Jack's hat trick, all taking place in the first half, as we mentioned, 6 goals. Is there a point in time, I know not in the first half, but in the second half, you start thinking, hey, I got to get all my other players in here and really start adjusting things and get them used to things, and also, okay, let's just hold the ball?
Well, those are the games that you really want to get everybody a chance, and it really is the way you can improve your team. So in the first half, we gave, I think, maybe 6 to 8 subs in the first half. Once we were up 3-0, we made the decision to start taking out the starters and bringing in the second string, so to speak, and then going from there. And then even as early as the 5 minutes into the second half, we also brought out the starters again. We were able to give players that haven't played a lot of minutes this year the opportunity to get better. And, we didn't say at no point did I tell the team to stop scoring. It was simple. It was, go out there and execute, and, because this is your opportunity to maybe play against Widener or Arcadia. So I think it's always tough to tell players that haven't had the chance to play all year to be like, no, you can't score. So we didn't actually turn it off. We just simply, our players that went in had a tougher time obviously scoring a goal. So but we got the job done by then, but the players all responded and they executed the game plan.
Yeah, so it's almost, so you put the other players in, but you don't want to change the game plan because you don't want to give
them.
Well, of course, Annie McCouch, you take her out at halftime. She gets her 8th win. Doesn't technically go down as an official shutout, but the defense and the goalie play has certainly been the bread and butter of this team. Then we saw the offensive onslaught against Lycoming. Seems like things are really starting to come together from one end to the other.
And that's it. And we've had to overcome the adversity of losing players, but the defense and goalkeepers so far, touch wood, it stays that way. They haven't had any problems. And, Annie's been great. And even Alicia and, Karen getting some time, they both still had to make saves. Annie made a great save, I think, in the first half. And then also Alicia had to come off her line and make a block. And then Karen picked one off across near the end when he had some corners towards the end. So the defense has did their job. Emily and Shannon, we got to give them a little bit of rest yesterday. I mean, 2 goals from Gabby on the outside is excellent, and Alexa and Kaylee hitting the crossbar with a header. So those that defense really is our strongest, I think, our strongest part of the team, and they really have held it together well.
Of course, back to C-Jack, an incredible goal through traffic for her third. Let's look ahead now. Now you get into that second meat of the schedule, as you would probably put it. The next 5 games, all against really tough conference opponents, but the next 2 is how you start this off. Widener comes to your place 11-0-1 before you hit the road. What's going to be the key here with Widener, who has not faced a loss? You granted have the advantage of being at home, but what do you need to do to give Widener their first loss of the season?
Yeah, all credit to Widener. They have they really did well. I mean, 11-0-1's a really strong record. You don't see many of them. Johns Hopkins is the only team I can think of right now that's also unbeaten. So, Widener's stepped up. They've beaten Swarthmore. They beat F&M in overtime last week. So they've got a lot of confidence. And coming off their 2-0 win at Alvernia, they're going to be ready for it. So, our goal is obviously to start off intense and try and get that goal early on them, because they haven't been behind too much this season. Yeah. So that's obviously what we've talked to our players, about when we went behind to Hopkins, how we respond to that. Let's see if we can put some pressure on Widener early and see how they respond to going a goal down. So that will be the goal. Our game plan will be simple. Let's take advantage of the home field. Let's come out hard and let's take it to them. And we played for 90 minutes against Lycoming, so let's see if we can play for 90 minutes against Widener.
And again, Widener, Albright, you're going to have Messiah here in 2 weeks. You got Elizabethtown for those 5 games. This is a tough stretch. This is an important stretch, not only for the overall record, not only for positioning yourself for hopefully postseason play, but positioning yourself for the conference.
I mean, this is it. I mean, we challenged the girls, and that's why we came out and won 9-0 yesterday, because the goal is simple. Each game is very important. So Lycoming, you still have to get the win. Yeah. You still have to get the win against Widener. Then you go to, Arcadia, then, Lebanon Valley, Messiah. Every game is just as important as the last one. Now we're into conference. We told the girls our 7-4 record, no matter who we, lost to, Johns Hopkins, who we beat, Haverford or Dickinson, it's now this. The conference is 0-0. Now we're 1-0. Let's try and go to 2-0. So that's the way we're looking at it, just taking it one game at a time, and each game's going to be tough. So
very good. Well, in the 2 years of women's soccer in the conference, the MAC Commonwealth, they've only lost 1 game. That is to Messiah. They certainly have a good record so far in their first year and a half, as it were. He's Graeme Millar, head coach for women's soccer. I'm Dave McHugh for Go Mustang Sports.